Hi guys, I should be going to bed, so I got my Hello Kitty blanket with me. But anyways, I want to talk to you guys about quantifying your goals. I say quantify um, in sort of a chemical sense. I'm a chemistry major. And so in when we're taking data, we have qualitative and quantitative data. Qualitative data are data that are not measurable, so like color and appearance, but quantitative data are data that are measurable, so like milliliters, grams, anything that has numbers really. So in this sense, when I say quantify your goals, it might not necessarily mean numbers, but it does mean measurable. So I first learned quantifying my goals, or this idea of quantifying um, qualitative um, essences, or not essences, but yeah, ideas from a pastor of mine, and he would say stuff like, if you say you love God, what does that look like? And that's the number one question you want to ask yourself when you want to quantify your goal is, what does it look like? So if I say that I love God, how do I substantiate that claim? Well, I serve my family because God has made the institution of family, and by serving them, um, I die to myself by making sure that their needs are met before mine. I can exercise self control, like not eating too much, or by leaving my phone away from me. I will use that example a lot, is by leaving my phone away from me. If this is the temple of God, if my body is the temple of God, I want to make sure that I'm using this well. Um, so that's the way that I show that I love my God, is by stewarding his temple well. So let's take an idea that we would all love to do, and that's not wasting time. So let's say this: my goal is to not waste time. Well, what does that look like? I can focus on my homework. Well, what does that look like? I'll keep my phone away from me. Well, what does that look like? I'll put my phone in a drawer in another room while I do my homework in the kitchen. I would say that's a fully quantified version of your goal, or of my goal, or whatever. Um, we are all distracted by a lot of things, and so that's just one example of this. Um, you want to keep on asking yourself, what does that look like? What does that look like? What does that look like? And you see that I kept on asking, what does that look like, until I could physically track my procedure. That's like sort of measurable. Like I can see myself putting my phone in a drawer, shutting it, going to the kitchen, and doing my homework there. If you need to get really nitty gritty about your whole procedure, do that. More specific that you are, the better, actually. I mean, in my lab notebooks, when I've been very non specific or quite vague in my procedure, I don't know what to do next. But when I've been very specific, I know exactly my game plan for my entire lab, and I'm able to complete it. I'm able to complete my lab with results that I want, and I understand my lab actually. So that's that's my take on I would say negative sort of goal. Not negative in the sense that it's bad, but I just use the word don't in there. But let's use another example, like saying I want to be a better student or a better athlete. I did do tennis in high school, and I was going to do cross country, but I took this program called Running Start. Some of you might know it. And I just didn't have time because I had lab, and the lab time would have interfered with travel time back to my high school, and that would have interfered with like actual running. But anyways, let's just go back to this. Well, if I want to be a better student or a better athlete, well, what does that look like? For the student portion, I could say I want to study 4 times a week with my friends. That's quantitative. You can get more specific than that. I'm going to study 4 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Can't do Fridays for whatever reason, or whatever you need to do. Um, I'll study with X, Y, and Z. I'll do that in the library. We're going to be studying bio on Monday, calc on Tuesday, organic chemistry on Wednesday, and stats on Thursday, or whatever. Um, you want to be able to have a measurable procedure. Not procedure might be a bad word, or bad phrasing, but you want something where you can see yourself doing it, not just like, oh, I'd love to do this, or I'd love to do that, but if you don't take the proper steps to your goal, you'll never be able to reach it. Many Christians, I would say, would label this quantifying your goals. They would label it as the physical manifestations, or I would have labeled that as an initial thing. So I just want to point out another thing with being an athlete. Well, what does that look like? You can say, I'll practice every day but Sunday for 2 hours. That is quantitative. One thing I do want to point out is that the qualitative is not discounted just because you can't measure it, but you do need a measurable method to obtain your goal. That's the main thing, is that you need to have something where you're taking steps towards it. Like for me, my goal is to become a doctor one day, or an engineer, and I'm taking those courses. I'm taking biology, calculus, and chemistry. I've taken general chemistry. I've taken that series. Now I'm taking the organic chemistry series. Do you see? I'm taking. You can measure my procedure. I took Chem 1, Chem 2, Chem 3. I'm taking Organic Chem 1. I'll take Organic Chem 2 next quarter, and Organic Chem 3 in the following quarter. So even like with that long-term type of goal, you can scale it down and do it like, well, I want to get my homework done tomorrow, so I'm going to study an hour today with a 10-minute break, and I'll do some more later at 7 p.m. Let me look some more here. For me specifically, like in organic chemistry, if I want to quantify my goal, I'll start off with a qualitative goal right now, like getting a high grade in organic chemistry. My quantitative steps would be, I'll read chapters 14 and 15 from 2 to 5 p.m. on Tuesday at the library with my green notebook and my blue and red pens. You see, I got really specific with that. You don't need to be as specific as that, but I would recommend you to be very specific so that you have a goal in mind. Your procedure is all written out and you can follow your procedure verbatim, or you can change it. That's the thing in chemistry. If your procedure just didn't work, which happened with my procedure last week or 2 weeks ago, it's alright. You can change your procedure. It's fine. Nothing has to be completely rigid. It's totally fine. But you see that I had a measurable goal. I took measurable steps in order to obtain my goal. So, to recap, with your goals and quantifying your goals, you're always going to ask yourself, what does that look like? And those are going to be the measurable steps, and from that you'll find the measurable steps towards your goal. And it's like a way that you can physically track your procedure. So that's what I have for you today. I have finals next week, and I thought this might be helpful to you guys since it helped me. I definitely screwed up in school when I did running start, and so I want to make sure that you guys don't ever need to make those mistakes. So if you guys have any questions or any tips about studying, because I need those definitely, please let me know in the comments below. Alright guys, please share, like, and subscribe. And yeah, have a good day guys. Bye.